Just again, so if like the people that are listening to this, starting a new business when it comes to distribution, because this isn't the first time that there's a lot of people. And one thing that I'm learning about, not only working here like as in insurance, insuring all these businesses, is just like distribution and logistics. Oh my God, it's everything, especially with the rise of e-commerce.
Yeah.
But again, okay, forget that. That's another tangent. What I'm saying is, so right now, give us the organizational structure of Smoke Show, how you guys are currently operating today.
Yeah. Okay. So today 95% of our revenue is B2B, straight to retail. Okay.
Yep.
5% is online. Okay. Online is good. It's growing. Our margins are great. But like we saw, like, during COVID, 45% of our revenue was online. But at the end of it, I think now that COVID is pretty much done, people have fallen back into love with like brick and mortar and are just buying online less. They're like, oh, I can go to the store. I don't have to wear a mask. I can like be a human again. So like people are now like buying. We're seeing big growth in retail. So we have, as of January 2023, we'll have 2 manufacturers making our sauces.
Okay.
3 manufacturers making our sauces.
Why 3 and not 1? I guess they're closer geographically speaking to the locations you're distributing to?
Well, this past year, like I said, has been a complete nightmare with regards to my business. Actually, that's not true. It's just been a big challenge. It was like growing pains. We had to to get to where we are now, we had to like pull some teeth and whatever. And it was all, the juice was worth the squeeze, baby. It was really worth it. So,
and this is all in an attempt to increase your margins and bring the distribution
exactly
internally.
Exactly. And the problem is when you have one manufacturer, is your chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and they were the weakest link. The demand for Smoke Show was never the issue. The supply was becoming an issue. They couldn't keep up. We outgrew them. They had problems sourcing. They had problems staffing, and like their staffing problems become my problems. So I had no choice, but I had to diversify. And I had to explore other options, and I found someone who's gonna start making my sauces elsewhere. Same recipe, same everything, just made elsewhere. Not only that, but in terms of scalability and in terms of like bringing this thing to where I think it's going to be in 2-3 years. Like I want to have, and it looks much better on paper when you have multiple manufacturers as opposed to one, because if a fire starts in one of these guys, it's over. I'm coming to work here. Like, like not selling insurance, but I'll do something. I'll cook for your staff. Do you know what I mean? Like I have no more business. So, so yes, we buy from 2 manufacturers for the sauces, 1 for the spices. And we hold inventory at our downstairs. We have a warehouse.
How much inventory do you hold typically?
As much as we can, but our manufacturers just shits the bed constantly. So we were sold out of it like for the majority of the year. Like just to like put it in perspective, we probably missed out on like I'd say about $250,000 in sales this year.
Ugh, gross.
And like I don't want to like talk numbers and like whatever, like just in terms of actual sales.
Ugh.
People that we would have pitched, that we were planning to pitch, people who couldn't order, can't order, that got canceled. And
this was all because the manufacturers weren't able, or a manufacturer wasn't able to get the product in time to you guys.
Yeah, or just get it to us at all. Like our.
And if you guys have, so when you're holding, excuse me, when you're holding the sauces inventory, how long can you keep that for before it goes bad?
Oh, like at least a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. This is a huge thing. Yeah. That was a big thing for me. It was like, I know people who have like cold pressed juice companies, and they like, I'm like, what's your shelf life? They're like 3 days. I'm like, dude, are you crazy?
How do you? I don't know how that works.
Even Midday Squares, man, their shelf life. I remember talking to them,
and they have to refrigerate it. They have to.
Yeah, it's very expensive. Very expensive.
Logistically, I bet you that's a nightmare.
Exactly. Oh yeah, no. So like all my products are shelf stable. That was something that like I knew out of the gate. Like when we were launching a new product, it has to be shelf stable. It has to have a shelf life over a year. And
why did you know that?
Because, I knew I didn't want to have to deal with like products going bad. I had a horrible experience when I was making my sauce that the bottle started fermenting as I scaled up my product. As I scaled up
and this was
my
early
recipe.
in the in the smoke show, like creating the company.
Exactly,
Smoke show.
exactly. So this was like probably 4 years ago or something. Like I had scaled up my recipe from like a 2-liter blender to like I was making it in like this huge steam pot, like a monster thing, and obviously things change at that level. Like it's not the same. You can't just do like take your recipe times 1,000 and like you're good to go. Like
that's what I thought you did.
Yeah, no. So what ended up happening was bottles, my like pH levels in the sauce got all fucking wonky, and bottles started fermenting like a goddamn natural wine. Okay, so like I would get calls from people saying like I opened the bottle and it blew up all over my kitchen. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not fucking. Like someone's like messing with me.
Yeah.
Sure enough, like I got a video from Joe Beef, from the head chef at Joe Beef. He's like, "What the fuck's up with your bottle?" And he sent me a video, and it was a bottle of smoke show in the sink, and it was just like a volcano. And I was like, "Oh," he's like, "This looks like it fermented," because he like knows wine and whatever. And sure enough, that's what happened. So, again, this was when I was making my sauce in like a rented kitchen on Decaria, and I had to go around like pulling bottles off shelves around the city. And like doing all kinds of crazy shit. I was like, that was like when I first started having like sleepless nights. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking blind someone or something horrible. Like I'm gonna get sued or whatever. I don't know.
How long? Like, did you have to change the process? Did you have to add in a new ingredient?
I needed to find a manufacturer. I knew.
Got it.
I knew that's what I had to do. Yeah, you could put stabilizers, and that's what we did.
Okay.
To kind of like sulfates, like wine. You know.
And when you go to a manufacturer, typically speaking, like, do you give them all the instructions, or do they? I would assume they probably have already a lot of experience. And they'll ask you questions like, hey, do you want us to add this to your manufacturing process? Do you want us to add this? How does that work? How do you find a manufacturer to make your sauce?
The finding the manufacturer is a lot of like knocking on doors and like sitting with people and explaining to them not just where your business is at, but where you want to take it, and kind of selling them, on yourself and the brand, really, because they like, it's like a serious partnership,
Yeah. Well, that's
it. And
that's a big part of the
I
company.
bring them
making the sauce. I feel that's like 75% of the company. Like the sauce is the product.
It's the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But they want to make sure that like your business has legs, and they want to make sure that it's not run by like a crazy person, and they want to make sure that like, it's your, top of your list.
Is it a big investment for them as well?
Yeah. Like yes and no. Like
I feel because like the way I look at it is like, if I look at like a manufacturer that's going to make the sauce, the way I look at it is, I feel like they already have the factory, they already have all the equipment, they already have. I mean, and I'm assuming you're buying the ingredients and giving it to them. Like,
no,
how
that's it. They it's like turnkey. Like that's where it gets expensive for them. Is like they have to buy all the bottles, they have to buy all the labels.
They're putting the costs up front, and you're paying them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is okay.
Exactly.
I get that.
So, what was the question?
There's not really a particular question right now. Just how your sauce started fermenting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So the finding the manufacturer was like key. That was like how I knew I had to solve this problem, which we did. I called a guy and he made it happen, and that's it. We never looked back. Now our sauce has been the exact same for like the last 3 or 4 years.
It's delicious, by the way. Your
thank
sauce.
you.
I love your sauce.
People, even my wife, man. My wife like texted me that, because like it's always in our fridge, but like like that hot sauce, like the original hot sauce, like I've literally been soaked in it. I've had just like too much of that, and she wrote to me like, hey, like just had your hot sauce like with my eggs, it's so good, you know what I mean?
It's delicious.
I was like, fuck yeah, like people still love it, people still are crazy about it. But what's crazy, our aioli outsells our hot sauce like 3-1. Our aioli is like, people be like, oh, you're a hot sauce company. I'm like, it's an aioli company now.
Interesting.
Yeah. We sell so much of that.
And
aioli.
so you guys are only selling. So you're only selling to Canada right now. We're gonna wrap this up again in a nice little bow for where we're at in terms of the podcast right now. So we got Smoke Show. You guys do all the distribution internally. It seems like everything's on track for having the manufacturers to make the sauce.